My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
PTN, you're doing the right thing.
On the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
PTN on your bumper.
I'm Tom McDonald. This is the Patriot Prayers Network. Check it out. Lots of good TV. Lots of cool people. Tune in. Keep it locked.
I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My Patriots the craziest. They ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip. The same mistake and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them. There's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem. Smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms. Fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave to the grave. United States, we love the country that they've been corrupting. Go woke and go broker if you ain't obeyed. My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you...
Welcome, my fellow Americans, to another episode of the Cowboys and Indians podcast. I'm your host, Native Patriot. Of course, with me today is Steve, and we have a special guest joining a little bit later tonight. He's the Fanatic American. I'm excited to bring him up. How you doing today, Steve?
Man, I'm pretty good, bro. Can't really complain. Had a really long Independence Day weekend. Ate a lot of food I probably shouldn't have, but get back to the grind here shortly.
You know, I'm really excited that you actually called it Independence Day weekend. There's been too many people saying the 4th of July weekend, and I made a whole video on it about how it really bugged me. When people say 4th of July, you know, it discredits the entire reason why we celebrate Independence Day.
Exactly.
You know, we don't call Christmas December 25th. We don't call Easter April whatever it falls on, because I guess that changes each year. But you know what I'm saying.
Or May 10th. It's Mother's Day. You know, we'll just call it May 10th from now on. You take away the reason behind the holidays, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is a holiday where we declared to the world that we are independent, that our rights stem from God, and that no monarchy or tyrant or dictator has rule over the people. I mean, it was a brand new idea presented to the world that was, I mean, how many founding fathers who signed their name lost their lives? They lost everything. They were brutally tortured or had their houses and wives and kids killed. I mean, it was not a light moment in history when our founding fathers actually wrote their name down on the Declaration of Independence. It is a big deal. Right. So it is important to remember that it is Independence Day. It is not just July 4th. As much as they want to disconnect us from our roots, I don't want to allow that to happen. So I'm really, really adamant on it, and I try to correct everybody without sounding like a vegan, you know.
Damn, man, my internet is crap right now, bro. Oh, my God. All I heard was the whole time.
Well, I'm hoping it's not me. But, yeah, I mean... Well, what can you say? Elon Musk is he's kind of fallen off the bandwagon a little bit. Yeah. He's creating his own party. The American Party is what he wants to do. And a lot of foreigners were involved in the poll that he put up on X. And it kind of feels like there's a lot of foreign interference in this. So I was advocating for an American citizen tag. I want to be able to prove that I'm an American citizen, and I want that on my profile because it sure feels like we're getting a lot of outside sources coming into our politics.
Absolutely agree. Or if you set up a poll or something like that, you should be able to, filter it to a region like the United States or Canada or any of these other places. But yeah, man. So I commented on there, and I was like, how do we know 100% for a fact all Americans were voting on this poll? There's no way. There is no way. And when you have these cucks like Ian Cheong Miles, whatever that fucking guy is, that Malaysian asshole that likes to comment on American politics all the time, but has never stepped foot in the United States.
It's a problem, man. That's a real problem. And Elon Musk like retweets him all the time and comments on his stuff. And the only time Elon Musk ever commented on mine is when he stole my joke. That's the only time.
The slant on the
Yes.
Tesla. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So after the Secret Service came out and said that the reason why they weren't on the roofs protecting Donald Trump was because the roofs were slanted.
Right.
And so I made a joke about the Cybertrucks having a slanted roof.
Right.
And Elon Musk commented on it with his, he did like the eyes, and then he made his own joke where he got like 50 million views on his.
I know, man.
I was like, dude,
totally,
that is brutal.
Totally stole your monetization on that one, bro.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh man, dude! Imagine if you would have just reposted that. You would have gained like 100,000 followers overnight.
That'd have been nice. That'd have been helpful.
Yeah. Because how many followers were you at then?
Let's see.
Roughly.
When was that? I don't know. Maybe 140.
Okay. So
I have no idea, honestly. Maybe 100,000. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got you. Yeah, man, that's tough. I've had a couple Elon Musk comments on some of my posts, and this was like pre-election, right? And dude, the traffic that would just come to my every single post from that was insane.
Yeah, no, I ended up getting like 280,000 views on it, but it died after that. And then I saw that he made his own joke, and I was like, that is just dirty. That's rough.
Yeah, man, that is tough. Oh my god. Look, Rob, one of my subscribers, said the engine and cowboy are back, but he spelled engine incorrectly.
Yeah, I like it, man.
If you guys are watching this, please share. Please share it. That's the only way we can grow our podcast. Please.
Yes, and if you want to support the podcast, you guys can either subscribe to one of our Twitter or X pages. Oh my gosh, I still call it that. Or in the description down below, you can see that we are now streaming on Q, which is a broadcast station, or it's a broadcasting network that gives you all the TV channels for a lower price. If you guys have YouTube TV, you should stop supporting that company because they're owned by Google and they definitely don't like us. So, but I mean, YouTube TV is like, it's like $110 a month.
Something like that. Yeah.
Q,
I didn't realize we were on Q, so I cursed. I apologize.
Oh man, I don't know. We gotta. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. It's probably going to be all right.
Yeah,
probably.
We'll see.
But
I mean, our intro got banned on YouTube, so.
Yes, and I have to revamp the intro, and it's a lot more difficult because the original editing software that I used. I've since gone through and deleted a lot of my videos from back then to like clear out space, and so I can't go back in and actually edit the original video. I have to basically create a whole new one, which is which is why I haven't done it yet. I mean, really, I've had multiple weeks, and I definitely could have. It'll probably take like an hour, but still, it's just one of those things that it's just frustrating. You know?
Can we like reinvent the intro, but we use like water pistols? You know what I'm talking about?
I got
your intro. You guys
rubber band gun
or airsoft gun. Oh my! Oh, I love our intro.
I got a sweet rubber band gun.
Nice.
Looks like
a Thompson.
Yeah, it's all wooden. It put it together piece by piece. It came with like 400 pieces or something.
Yeah.
Took several hours. Did not like it. It was not fun.
Oh man. So a lot's gone on over the weekend, man.
Yeah, we celebrated Independence Day, which was really awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Took the family out in the big truck, and I hear in Texas there were some issues down there. What was going on down there, buddy?
Just a lot of flooding, man. I think it was close to the Guadalupe River rose 30 feet or something crazy like that. I think we're at over 100 casualties. from what it was pretty bad, man. And
Whoa.
I really hate the left and right when it comes down to a tragedy, because everybody likes to make a political statement on it, and for this time, because Trump is in office now, obviously they're going to bash Trump. Oh, there were no warnings because we defunded and we did Doge and all this other stuff and took all the funding out of it, which is a complete crock, and everybody knows it, because the cuts don't go into effect until like October or something like that. They forget to tell you that type stuff. But the left and the right, they always like try to capitalize on a tragedy instead of trying to really focus on what happened. A lot of people lost their children, moms, dads, sisters, aunts, uncles, all of that. That's what we should be really focused on, and the recovery. And I did make one political statement, I guess, towards it, and I essentially stated, if it wasn't for quote, in quotes, for toxic masculinity, then there would be nobody over there to help save all of these people or recover the bodies. And I know we talk about that a lot, about masculinity and what it takes to be a man. I don't think that women could really handle the emotional stress and there are some. Okay, so let me just say that in like
we don't need to put them in that position. It's
correct.
Not a position where
it's
necessary
to do something like that.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, absolutely. So that's really the only kind of political statement I really kind of made towards that. But my prayers are out to all those people over there. And if I was more financially set right now, I'd be there, boots on ground. But it's unfortunate.
It's just one of those things that it's a natural disaster, and unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives and a lot of people lost their kids, and it is one of the things that as a father, a husband, or as a son, is that you have to try and be aware of things like that. Now, granted, nobody expected a giant flood like that to happen.
No.
But this is one of the reasons why we also say that you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of where you're going, what you're doing. These acts have to be intentional in many ways. And
definitely.
Hopefully you can avoid some tragedies like this if you're just paying attention. And I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm not saying that it's their fault or anything like that. But, with tragedies like this, it is important to learn how to avoid disasters like this, because it's not like you can just hide in your shell and never go out camping or never go outside if it's going to rain. No, it's important to go outside. It is important to go around and experience life. And sometimes you're put in dangerous situations that you have to be aware of, or at least do your best to be aware of. But my heart really goes out to all the families down there in Texas, and I really pray that the survivors are found, and it is just heartbreaking, man.
Brave Beauty says, I do not believe it's natural at all. So I'm just going to say, all right, cool. So I'm just going to say I've lived in Texas since 2016. And usually by this time of year, I would say roughly in the June, July, August, there's usually a good 6 to 8 week period of zero rain. This has been the rainiest summer I've ever experienced since being here. And I'm sure there's maybe some Texans in the chat that can kind of attest, or, been here longer. And usually there's a dry season, but bro, it's been raining here every single day. And it's literally downpours when it's supposed to be the dry season.
That's weird, man.
I
mean, it's been dry up in Washington State. So
yeah,
it's the exact opposite. I mean, usually usually we get rain. Like growing up, it was just always raining. Now it's like not raining anymore. Blame climate change. I don't really care. It's I haven't lived long enough to really tell you how the weather is supposed to be.
Right.
But I know that the tyrants running the show and trying to convince me to give them more money so they can solve the issue. I know that they're not lying, that they're not telling the truth. So
yeah, we're going to tax you into oblivion, but we have to create the emergency first. I'm serious.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, HARP is a thing, and cloud seeding. I mean, there's a lot of these things that have been, they were conspiracy theories for a long time, but we know that cloud seeding is real. We know that.
Oh yeah,
that all
absolutely.
that stuff it's not a conspiracy theory. They definitely do it. So, but how much? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I've been up in your neck of the woods. I went to Fort Lewis pre-mobilization. Actually, not pre-mobilization. Well, I did it for pre-mob, but also when I got out of active duty and went reserves, and I was part of a training battalion, and we would go train the ROTC guys and gals up in Fort Lewis. So 18, 19-year-old college kids going to a gun range for the first time in their life, and their first gun they ever shoots a 240 Bravo. That's pretty amazing. Not gonna lie. My first gun was a 9mm. Right, but theirs is like an automatic machine gun, 7.62 belt fed. So, and they're like, we have short belts, right? It's not we don't give them like 100 rounds. We give them maybe 15 or 20. So they just like do some short continuous burst, right? But man, that was fun. But one thing that I do remember about the Seattle area is not to trust the weather. Because I looked at the forecast and it was like, okay, it's going to be 70 degrees sunshine, right? Get out to the gun range. Dude, blue, beautiful day. You can see Mount Rainier and everything. But come about 2 p.m., there was one single cloud that started to develop. And 30 minutes later, it was 40 degrees and raining, and I had no wet weather gear. That day sucked, bro.
You always got to have wet gear, man. At least around these parts.
I learned my lesson. Trust me.
Yeah. I've just gotten so used to it that like, my boots are always waterproof. I always have a spare something just in case, because there's been too many times where I've been stranded with really wet clothes. I mean, even yesterday, right? So I took my kids out and my wife. We stopped at a lake, and I lost my sunglasses. I got these sunglasses over a decade ago. They were $300 Oakleys, very nice Oakleys.
Yeah.
Right? So we stopped at this lake, and my son was like, he was throwing a fit about, just being an 11-year-old, arguing about something. And so I like set my wallet and my phone to the side, and I was like, I'm gonna go dunk my kid. And so I scooped him up, and I was like, okay, I definitely don't have anything. And so I had my sunglasses on, and as soon as I dunked back, I just like, I felt the glasses fall off, and I was like, no! And I didn't find them. We ended up looking for like the next hour, and all we found was one lens. So, $300 glasses gone forever. They're the only glasses that I've kept for that long, and now they're gone. So it is what it is.
I buy cheap sunglasses now, man, because every time I buy expensive sunglasses, I lose them. I don't know what it is, but the last time I had some was about 15 years ago, and I had the Oakleys just like yours. Yeah. But I think they were called the oil cans. Like how they had like really thick on the side. I don't know if you ever seen those. I would have to look it up.
Those were like super popular.
Yeah, well, like 15 years ago, so early-ish 2010s.
Back in the day.
Oh man, it feels like forever ago. Like we're creeping up on 2030, and I'm just like, man, I graduated in 2002. I'm like, ooh, I just passed my 20-year reunion. I haven't been to one reunion since I graduated, but anyways, it's getting old, man.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're talking about the weather. Yeah, but I mean, I was fully clothed. I was in my work pants and everything. So, in work boots. Luckily, they dried. Like my work boots mostly dried by the time I left for work this morning. I put them on the boot dryer as soon as I got home. I was like, come on. I don't want to be walking around in squishy, wet crap.
Oh, yeah. It's the worst. Oh, man. So, yeah, Texas, man, it's rough down here, but, it's there's a lot to say about perseverance. Within a community.
Hey man, we're descendants of survivors. The only reason we're here is because we survived, and it's good to learn it's good to learn basic skills. What's that old saying? It's a jack of all trades, but a master of None. Well, it used to be a jack of all trades and a master of one. So whatever your trade is, you're supposed to be a master at it.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
you should also be a master of, you should be a jack of all trades. You should learn how to do all these things, understand how the world works, understands how things function, be able to fix them. And I mean, a lot of people will look at my truck because I shared pictures on my truck, and they're like, "Wow, that's you have a monster truck." And people assume that it's like really expensive, but I have, all in all, I probably have less than 20 grand into it. I know that. So, but I have countless hours in customizing it, and
for sure. Yeah, just learning things, breaking things, cursing a lot, probably.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I know.
A little bit of trial and error, and yeah. So. But it's fun to me, like figuring stuff. When something breaks, like I enjoy figuring out what's wrong, how to fix it. Even if everything on my truck isn't like, like if there was a professional who came and looked at my truck, they'd be like, "What in the heck did you do? Like, why did you do it this way?" And it's like, well, I don't have a ton of money to buy all the expensive parts, so I just make it work. That's how it's done. So,
call it jerry rigging, right?
Yes, that word. Yeah, that's what I call it.
Yeah,
we'll keep it appropriate on here.
Absolutely, man. This is a wholesome show.
Yes, very, very wholesome.
Do you want to bring our guest on?
I do, but I actually want to play our sponsor first, so that way we can kind of get that out of the way. So after we come back from the break, we will talk a little bit more about the Epstein files that never were. I know we were kind of holding off on that topic because it's a big deal, and absolutely. I mean, this is something that man, it is pretty disheartening. But when we come back, I'm going to be bringing on the Fanatic American. He's one of our followers, and East Coast patriot, getting more involved in his community. So we'll take a short break. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Heard of Q Broadcast? It's taking the world by storm. People are cutting the cord to their high cable bills and moving away from streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and others for something better. Q Broadcast. For just $60 a month, you'll get access to every channel you could ever want, including HBO, Cinemax, and Stars. And the best part? There are no contracts, no hidden fees, and you're free to cancel anytime. With Q Broadcast, you can enjoy streaming live TV, movies, and top series on up to 5 devices at once. Whether you're at home or on the go, Q Broadcast makes sure your entertainment is always at your fingertips. Imagine being able to watch all your favorite channels from anywhere, anytime, without any restrictions. We're talking about thousands of movies, hundreds of TV series, and a huge library of live channels, all in one place. And don't forget video on demand and pay-per-view events. Those are included at no extra cost, so you'll never miss a big event again. Now, take a second and think about your current cable bill. You're probably paying anywhere between $100 and $300 every month, locked into long-term contracts and hit with surprise rate increases. With Q Broadcast, that's a thing of the past. It's just $60 a month. No contracts, no extra fees, no hidden costs, and no price hikes. Why juggle multiple subscriptions like Netflix, Hulu, and cable when Q Broadcast gives you everything you need in one convenient package? People everywhere are switching to Q Broadcast, saving money and getting more content than ever before. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description and sign up for Q Broadcast today. Just $60 a month, no contracts, no hidden fees. It's time to take control of your entertainment and start streaming smarter.
Q Broadcast is the next generation of streaming networks that bring you not only the traditional TV, but they're integrating podcast networks like ours, the Patriots Prayer Network, into the platform itself. So we actually have an entire channel on the podcast, or on the streaming network, which is very cool. We are live right now. So hi, you guys. It's good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. You guys can go back and pause at that. Maybe take a screenshot of that Q code or click the link down in the description below. And that way you can kind of shift away from supporting streaming platforms like YouTube TV or any other platforms that you know for a fact hates you and hates our country and hates our founding, and for some reason we still give them lots of money. So let's start to try to break away from things like that. And thank you for sitting through the ad. I know that it's a lot of people don't like ads, but hey, it is what it is. This is how we're one of the ways that we're going to grow is to be able to share ads with you guys. And we try to only take on sponsors that we actually believe in. And it has been few and far in between. We've turned down a lot of sponsors. And okay, but moving on to the next, let's bring up our guest here, the fanatic American East Coast patriot. Like I said, he is getting involved in his community a little bit more, and I am honored to bring him on today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Can you guys hear me?
Buddy?
Hey, Steve. Hey.
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
This is like a dream come true. I've watched you guys, a long time listener, first time caller, So yeah, I'm happy to join this conversation. And yeah, getting involved in the community, just trying to, find a voice. I love this country. I love what you guys do. And I'm not nervous at all.
I think I'm going to call his bluff and ask him a really crazy question. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that to you. But anyway, so guys, check this out. So we started this last week. Me and Maurice were like, you know what? We do talk a lot. We discuss a lot of things, but we also want to elevate patriots, right? We want to bring people onto our podcast that want to come onto our live stream and just kind of get their 10 or 15 minutes. They want to say, something maybe to a larger audience that they have never been able to be exposed to. So I'm really proud of Fanatic, because I think this is his first live stream, I believe. He held a space days ago. Fantastic job. I believe he had about 1,200 listeners in his space, which is really awesome. Fanatic's also a history buff, and he's a fighter in the political and cultural war. So bravo, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. So happy to be here. And yeah, I like to talk smack back to, Democratic political figures and just kind of go at it on X. A little bit, I want to get just real quick. Back after Trump got shot at, I wasn't on X. And then I went to my grandmother's house, and I heard her say some of the wildest things. I was like, I got to get near people that believe in what I believe in. So that's what started my journey back in September, joining X, and it's been life-changing. So, yeah.
Wow, that's fast. I know that you got 15,000 followers in that
Just
short amount of time. That's amazing. Great job.
I spent a lot of time because I believe in it. I really do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people really can sense genuine people. I mean, there's a lot of bots. Absolutely. There's a lot of influence out there that is not genuine. That is, a lot of clickbait. But when people see the genuine nature of somebody coming out and speaking, what they believe in and what we're supposed to represent as a people, it really starts to, I guess, it cues people into how we're supposed to communicate amongst each other, and not so much repeat rhetoric we hear from the news, because that is like the gaslighting that we get from the news is overwhelming. I mean, even the most recent gaslighting that we've been experiencing, which is I still don't know how to process it, but there was a memo that came out. It's on the DOJ website. It's not signed, and it basically says that there's no credible evidence that Epstein kept any list of his clients, and that they're not really going to be pursuing any prosecutions of any sort. And recently, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel came out and said that Epstein killed himself. And so they did release footage, 12 hours, supposedly. Minus 1 minute. Yeah. 12 hours of footage of Epstein's jail cell, minus 1 minute. And that was supposed to prove to everybody that there's no there, right? That there's actually nothing that happened. And it is so confusing and heartbreaking to kind of see, especially somebody like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, who have really championed this and said, do not let this go. This is important. There is something going on here that we need to understand. And so we get them in there at the head of the FBI, and it just seems like they just morphed into the swamp. As soon as they got in, it was like, okay, instead of dismantling these institutions, what we're going to do is we're going to put on a good face. What, Fanatic, is your take on this entirety of this episode? Now, I know this is your first live stream, but I want it succinctly. I want it clearly. I don't want any hesitations.
No, I mean,
What really? What do you think about it?
So, okay, it's obvious that is not necessarily the case. Now, what we don't know, I mean, I see it in a couple of ways, right? So the story from Axios, it's Axios. You can't trust them. I mean, you can't. They've proven time and time again. All these the AP, Axios, Reuters. You can't trust them. I mean, they will take anything to try and disparage the Trump administration and put them in the dirt.
True.
That's A. B. I don't think this proves any link between Donald Trump himself and the Epstein files. We know that for a fact that if the Biden administration had their hands on those files in October, Donald Trump's political aspirations would be in the dirt and he would be in prison right now.
100%.
There's no question about that. Let's get those two things out of the way very, very quickly. What we don't know, what we don't know can sometimes tell us almost more than what we do know. I don't know about in this case, but we don't know what I have zero trust in Pam Bondi. I think just personally, I know some people do. I just don't. I don't think she's done anything to prove herself from day one. There's some great people that were even caught up in that binder thing. It's like, I follow them,
influencer binders.
Yeah. So like, even I know that some of those are good people, like Jack Posobiec. I think he's a great dude. And I look up to him. However, that reeks of publicity that, hey, we're on your side. We're trying to do stuff for you. And it's like, miraculous claims require miraculous evidence. So, and they didn't provide it. Okay. That's the other thing. I
would like to interject really quick here about
Please.
Pam Bondi, because there was a video that James O'Keefe released about her that undercut. Well, maybe it wasn't O'Keefe. Maybe it was I think it was O'Keefe. But he released a video of Pam Bondi saying that they were looking at the videos of Epstein and the clients, and the only reason that she came out and said that to us was because of that undercover video where she said behind the scenes, not to anybody who was, supposed to be outside of the know, that she was reviewing these tapes. And so with this memo being not signed, and we don't really know where it came from, this could be a saboteur, right, inside the White House or inside the DOJ, trying to flood the zone with distrust and to break MAGA's spirit, if you will, right? It is just a little bit weird with Pam Bondi saying that, and then coming out and professing it to the press after, or when she knew that video was going to be released.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden now we're kind of seeing this backtracking, and that there's no credible evidence of anybody else. So, I mean, how do you kind of, I mean, I guess maybe it just goes to your distrust of Pam Bondi in how she's one person behind the scenes saying that she has more evidence than, I mean, was she bragging? Was she just saying that she has something that she doesn't actually have?
Steve? I mean, I have a thought, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So Carolyn Levitt came out today, and they, I believe it was Peter Ducey, questioned her about it, and she didn't deny it. She kind of skirted around it. So I'm just overly frustrated right now with, honestly, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel. I think I have a couple of theories of what's going on, and the one that people really don't like is the one where, okay, you have to build a case and collect all of this stuff, and maybe this is just a distraction to let them get their guard down. Maybe, I don't know. I don't believe the what is it? Trust the plan, or whatever that BS is. But on the other hand, let's be real about the Epstein client list and the evidence. I think they've been BSing us this whole time. I do not believe all of that stuff was around when Bongino and Patel walked through the front doors of the FBI. I don't think so. I think it was all wiped. Everything is gone. And we got pedos that run the country still. So
I think there's some validity to that. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that, I mean, but that's right. Like, how much was appeasement? How much? Because we all know what we voted for. And there was a lot of momentum back in November and in late January to get in there and, unentrench this garbage that's taken over, the halls of power in our nation. So how much of it was placating? I mean, that's what I was kind of getting at with the influencer binder thing, is that felt like placation of like, let's give these people what they want. So that might be a part of it. Also, I do think that there was a rift at one point between Patel and Bondi, and back with the, when this kind of first all started back in the Southern District of New York with those files. They claimed they couldn't get their hands on. I mean, the American military can build a Burger King in a war zone, but that we can't go to New York and get files from New York to DC.
It was the field office, right?
Yeah,
the New York field office. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I mean, it almost seems like incompetence, and I know that's at least in that case. But from Bondi's office, I don't know. I mean,
but at what point? Like, I don't think it's incompetence. I think, like, you're held at the highest. You're the highest law enforcement agent in the United States for Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
I think I just want to believe there's more that's going on behind the scenes than we're being alluded to. I don't want to go full black pill, because like then I'm just, but like, I mean, Trump coming out today and saying that we're going to send more weapons to Ukraine. I'm like, what in the auto pinch stuff is this?
Yeah. I mean, we can switch to that too. I'm ready to talk about that as well. No, absolutely. So,
are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit very hard. We're going to have to send more weapons. Your defensive weapons, primarily, but they're getting hit very, very hard. Very sad.
Are they, like, what are they not telling us? Why is it we clearly voted to end this war and to stop sending money and supplies to Ukraine? Why in the world does it seem like there's just this complete 180? Diddy gets released. Epstein files are a big nothing burger, apparently, is what we're told. Trump decides to bomb Iran, which it seems like it worked out well because we didn't start World War III. But still, we did those bunker busters into Iran. And now we're sending money to Ukraine. What? Or it's not money, but defensive weapons. Because they're getting hit hard. So what? We voted to end that. Why are we doing this? Anybody have any idea?
I do. Well, I have two reasons. I have two. Let me give two theories at least. Okay. Trump talked to Putin, on the 3rd or the 4th, and then like 12 hours later, Putin launched the largest missile and drone offensive on Kyiv since the war started. Trump, we all know Trump. We all know how he is. If you've been paying any attention to politics, whether you love him or hate him, you know he has an ego. He took that personally, I think. And I think he said, okay, Putin, you want to do that? Then I'm going to do this. And I think that's what it is. And my second theory and thought on this is that Trump broke Zelensky in front of the entire world, in the Oval Office. He can't do the same thing to Putin in the same way, because Zelensky is the minor partner, however you want to call that. I mean, that's kind of what it is in this conflict. Whether we support it or not, the United States has been doing this, and most of us do not. Yep. So he needs to find a way to try and break Putin, however much. Now, I would assume, with my very limited knowledge, very amateur knowledge of air defense capabilities, they're probably sending more Patriot batteries. That would be my guess. I don't know, but to stave off more attacks like we saw on the 4th of July. I'm sorry, Independence Day, Maurice.
Thank you.
So that would be my guess. I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert. I read a lot. I consume this stuff on a pretty daily basis. So that's my guess. The ego thing, though, I will 100% stand by that. That is why we're doing it. Now, breaking Putin, I would believe in that more if we saw additional sanctions or other things going on. But I mean,
point.
How much would that really do? I mean, as much as, if we're going down that lane, what did Joe Biden and the fascist European Union not do? So,
yeah, and that's the most difficult part, because we always have to speculate on things that are happening behind the scenes, and that's how we create conspiracy theorists, because we have never been told the truth. So that's the most frustrating part. Now, for like a geopolitical kind of theory, or it takes a lot. And if you strike somebody with a drone, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to escalate, to a higher level of war, right? So you just have these strikes like we did in Iran. And for one second, I was kind of upset that he did that, because he ran on the no new wars type thing. And I think that kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But whenever you stop and you really think about it, those were targeted strikes. We're not just trying to knock down all the residential buildings in all of Tehran, right? We're taking out their nuclear capabilities. Now, the reasoning behind that, I really don't want to say that too much on the air, but I think there's a lot of control from foreign countries within the United States, and they have way too much pull on what is exactly happening in the United States.
So I'm not ignoring that, because I don't think that you're wrong. I don't. But yes, I'm not gonna get into that topic personally. But let's talk from a geopolitical, from a chessboard point of view. Donald Trump has always been consistent on one message: Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, cannot have nuclear weapons. What happened in that 12-day war is that Israel degraded, and honestly, regardless of your thoughts of Israel, but from a military standpoint, Israel degraded Iran's air defense capabilities to such an extent that allowed us to basically waltz in with F-22s, F-35s, and B-2 Spirits and do what other administrations had blown smoke up our ass that said they were going to do. Whether you want that or not, that's up to you. But that's the reality. That's what everybody has talked about since 1979, since this happened, ever since Iran started talking about getting nukes. So for Trump to be able to do that, to hang his hat on that and say, hey, I stopped that. Now, the voter is going to determine how important that is. It's not the most important thing to me. How about we, start, talking about deportations? But you can see the argument for it in Trump's mind. He's always said this. The Israelis went in and crippled Iran to the extent where it made it super easy for us to deliver on something that Trump's always believed in.
That's true. Yeah. That kind of, the opportunity was presented to us, and Trump was able to take advantage of it quickly. And one of the big things that everybody loved about Trump is that he would go in, and when he would negotiate with these foreign countries, he would talk tough. And if there's nothing behind that tough talk ever, then people will start to not believe you, and that tough talk becomes just a loud bark instead of an aggressive growl that actually, it would have any kind of influence in the negotiation room with these foreign countries. So I've kind of gone back and forth on this.
Because it's like you do support in some areas and some you don't. It's so difficult. So I will say this. Foreign policy for Trump he has done what he said he's going to do, right? But as far as domestic policy, I think it is kind of lacking. And the problem is Congress. And I've shouted this from the freaking
drum, Steve. Beat the drum.
Until I'm blue in the face. Like, I even make my post. Congress has always been the problem. Why do people not realize that? It's been Congress. It's been the rhinos that we have in power right now. The representatives that are paid off by either AIPAC or these other organizations that are just creating these bills and pushing money behind the scenes just to forward their agenda. And it's been a detriment to the American people for a long time.
Yeah. And I don't want to, I could talk for a while. I don't want to take up you guys.
No, you're good, man. You're a guest, brother.
You're here as a guest.
All right. So we've dealt with 3 issues on the foreign policy front. Ukraine being the largest. That's the thing in the room. And I don't know how that's going to end. And I don't know what the answer is. If if Putin does take all of Ukraine, is he going to stop? I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. I don't think it's realistic that he's some Hitler 2.0. I just don't think that's the case.
No.
Like at all. But with that said, what happens if we are wrong? And that's what concerns me. And then we have China on the other side. And that's a concern. China. We have China on the other, and they've made it clear. You know, what was the Navy secretary had a clock in her office that was like counting down to 2027. That's a realistic thing. And to lump that in with the Ukraine topic, it's like we have these munitions that we need for our own defense. And I don't see the Taiwan issue brought up in the same light as the Ukraine issue, and I don't know really what the pulse is on that. And then we have the Iran issue, and I think those are the three biggest geopolitical kind of issues facing us. I'm going to lump the tariffs and the immigration stuff into domestic. But and I think Trump's done a decent job, and I think we should raise tariffs on China to 1,776%. I just I have no love. They are a foreign government that is every single fiber of their being wants to see us undermined and destroyed. They want to be
not only that, we fought a civil war to end slavery in this country, and now we've just outsourced it to get cheap products.
We were sold down the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I don't think that's right. I think that's wrong. But does any of this stuff, do you think, with the way Trump's handled foreign policy, and with the way the Epstein client list has been handled, do you see the midterms? Because we're coming up on them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? Well, kind of. Right?
March of next year, Texas.
484 days.
Do you see this affecting the midterms at all, to where we don't it'll be like his first presidency, where he becomes a lame duck afterwards, because then they just work on impeaching him over and over again. But is this in a lot of ways just to break this spirit of MAGA, so that way there is a break in our momentum, to where the Democrats can come in and then stop everything Trump wants to do during his second term? Because I know that I voted for 4 years of Trump, and as much as I'm disappointed, I have to wait this out. I made the choice. I made my bed. It's time to lie in it. Right. And it's definitely not time to back out and allow the Democrats to take ground, because I know that they're communists. There are evil people wanting to destroy this country. And if we allow our momentum to break just because, and I say just because I don't believe that Epstein, the client list being revealed right now, should be stopping us from electing representatives during the midterms to keep this momentum going, right?
Correct.
Steve? Yeah,
Steve Bannon said it best. He stated that elect the guys in and sort the traitors out after. It's better to have a Republican holding that office instead of a communist. And let's be real. Stop sugarcoating it. They're not socialists. They're not Marx. They're actual communists, and they want to overrule you without a doubt. Now, not much. The Republicans, the uniparty Republicans, they're not much better. But I'm just gonna say what Trump has. Oh, man, I'm trying to find the right terms, because I know Trump is still fighting, right?
Well,
but turn his webcam off.
I heard a uh-oh before he...
It's not a big deal. Excuse me. But we're talking about so I kind of wanted to backtrack a little bit. When we're talking about Iran, it really surprised me that Putin backed off. And Trump was he approved the strike and everything was fine because of the alliance with Russia and Iran.
Yeah.
Now, specifically Russia. So to me, I think the biggest threat and the top of the spear would be China. Then you have Iran, North Korea, and Russia. They are all, I guess, allies for. I believe it was called the Shanghai Syndicate, but I could be really misspoken on that. But hey, guess what? You're native now.
I mean, I'm from the same place Maurice is from. I grew up there, so I mean,
So where do we go from here, in your opinion? Between
We
now,
vote MAGA. That's what we do. Don't break the
Well, he's
spirit,
back.
man. Like, I try to like just pause for a second so I could get this on. But
Okay.
my entire point here was that we cannot allow this to stop the momentum of MAGA. We can't allow Elon Musk to come in, who advocated for MAGA 1/8 into Trump's presidency, to stop everything from happening. Because if we decide that we're going to abandon and blow everything up, then we are eliminating the possibility of what can come. And I, you know what? I'm tired of hearing this black pill from everybody saying that nothing's ever going to happen and that it's going to be the same old, same old. Well, you know what? At least we're trying to do something, right? I'm not just sitting back waiting for the Civil War to happen so we can all take each other out at a random time.
That's
No,
what they
I
want.
have kids. I'm a cancer survivor, right? I actually rely on a functioning society in order to live. So maybe it's selfish of me to want society to continue going. I don't want to partner with I don't want to partner with these communists and these I know for a fact evil, manipulated people to rule over us and to stop any potential progress that we have. This is the first time where we've had a president that is actually doing. I mean, they shot his freaking ear. Now I see a ton of right wingers, right, coming out and saying that, oh, maybe it was a staged event where he got his ear shot off from 150 yards. I don't know how good of a marksman you are, but with iron sights at 150 yards, there is a red dot at 150 yards. Zero chance that you are missing by this much. Zero chance. Nobody's that good of a marksman, especially a 21-year-old kid. So you know what? Everybody needs to, every right winger, everybody that voted Trump needs to suck it up and actually keep this momentum going, regardless of, yes, there's some bad news. Call them out for it. Point out the flaws in their administration so far, and definitely point out that when they say that Epstein killed himself, that I don't believe it. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you just stop everything.
Hang on, but if you start questioning what's going on, then you're not MAGA anymore.
There is I call that when Trump talked about pausing or giving some kind of amnesty to farm workers, I called it out. I didn't face a ton of. I called it out on JD Vance's post. I said, "Hey JD, I disagree with this, and this is why." Bang, 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 bang. I received there was a lot of engagement on that post for me, and I didn't get any. I mean, I got a few people being like, "Well, then you understand farming," and it's like, "Yeah, you're right. I don't. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. There's no, my town farms, but I didn't farm. I don't know." So there's that. But yeah, and there is a lot of that on X, and the level in which we are, and this is the first time I've ever had the opportunity to talk about this openly.
Good.
The way in which we engage with each other on X and we like call out like loyalty, that needs to happen from time to time. Don't get me wrong. But it's like if you go against the stream in any way, shape, or form, you're labeled as some kind of agitator or infiltrator.
Correct.
There is absolutely that. I mean, look, I'm not gonna name accounts, but they exist. You can see them. They're not from here. They don't live here. What you were talking about earlier, Maurice, being able to, I would happily give my passport to X to be able to have a little American flag icon on my page.
For sure.
Because you know what? Ian Miles Strong, absolute cretin. And I don't want to hear a word from him about our anything involved in my nation. You want to talk about the floods. You can talk about the floods, Ian. That's about it. Anyways, sorry. But to go back to, I almost see this as an internal struggle within MAGA with the Epstein stuff. I don't really have a lot of room or patience for the Democrats to be talking about this because they had 4 years to do the same thing and they didn't do
absolutely.
Anything.
And they're going to jump on any opportunity in order to break the MAGA movement spirit. That's the thing that I'm mostly concerned about. And I mean, Elon Musk has a point. Okay, he has a point with Congress not codifying the Doge cuts, and he has a point with his rift between Donald Trump. That's fine. He can, but the fact that he wants to all of a sudden start this new party is a ridiculous idea. The only way that we've gotten this far is because Donald Trump went in and took over the Republican Party. Obviously, there's a lot of traitors still left in there. Obviously, the Uniparty is still alive and well, and we need to sort those out. And regardless of what Trump says, Lindsey Graham is a POS, and we need to be able to get him out, right? Along with several other members of Congress. Okay, yes. It is not always going to be just a straight up win. Like, if I had a perfect world, okay, a lot of these institutions would be completely dismantled. The ATF would have been dismantled by now. Department of Education, yeah. The FBI would have been turned into a museum. The CIA would have been completely exposed, and we would have hopefully started something new completely, but exposed a lot of what they've been doing. A lot of these black book projects that they've been working on for a long time, and it needs to, a lot of that stuff needs to come to light, but it has to be done in steps. And I can't just, like, patience is definitely a virtue. And I can't come out and say that I want everything done my way right now or else that, you know, I'm going to quit and completely disengage from politics. As frustrating as politics is, you know, you have to be engaged somewhat, because guess what? This is the system we were born into. It sucks at times, I know, but it's the best system that man has ever come up with so far. And as far as a patriot up here in the Pacific Northwest with stupid communists running my state, taxing me to death, I believe that we can do something, right? Instead of just waiting for this fantasized civil war to happen where we all just go take out the commies with our guns, because hey, 330 million people, that's no joke. And I know for a fact, I work every day, 10 hours a day, going out into the field and maintaining the trucks that deliver all of our goods. If that stops, we don't get any goods. And all of a sudden, starvation, like, you thought the Bolshevik Revolution was bad? If transportation stopped in this country, delivering food or services or any
72 hours
of that sort, there would be death that we have never seen in this world before. There's so many people right now in this country that are completely reliant, and I don't think it's a good idea just to say screw everything and we should go to arms. It's a terrible idea, and like I think of more than just myself, right? Like, I think of my grandma and my mom and my sister and my cousins that you know, we don't need to just jump into this civil conflict that everybody has this fantasy of, that it would not go the way that you plan, and it wouldn't be good for anybody.
Absolutely. I mean, the people that bring up civil war are the ones that have never served and have never been themselves involved in a conflict, because that should be the last course of action that would happen in this country. But to your point, Maurice, I absolutely agree, man. And I feel like the Democrats are setting up the divide again within MAGA or the Republican Party, whatever you want to call it, just like they did during Trump's first term. So they're psyoping everybody into creating this rift. And let's face it, Elon Musk is not helping out at all with the America Party. I think he's just a petulant child that is trying to bring this up because his H-1B visas didn't go through and all of his Doge cuts or whatever. But what we need to focus on is our own party and start calling the left out more, because what I'm seeing a lot on social media right now is these conservatives that are out there just to try to make a grift or try to gain followers by trying to put other people down, when we should all be uniting on one front right now to crush these communists. Because if they win one chamber in the Congress during these midterms, Trump's going to be, again, a lame duck president, and it's just going to be Trump presidency 2.0 from the first one. So this is where we need to bind together as one movement and really hold our own party accountable through primaries, and then support the America First agenda. I'm sort of frustrated a little bit, you know, with how things are going on. But let's face it, Maurice, I don't like everything about you. You don't like everything about me. But as Americans, it's your
whiteness bugs me.
You're half.
You get sunburned all the time. It's crazy.
Actually, I don't, man. I've been trying to tan so much. Maybe it's just because I hit 40. I don't know. But anyways, man, this is an opportunity right now to really fix our country, and I think we're throwing it away because of some things that haven't gone our way just yet. But it's better for us to because these commies will stick together no matter what. They will vote blue all the way down, and they probably don't even know half of these people. So at the end of the day, we have to maintain control, and we have to turn the psyop on against them.
Yeah, and this dream, this idea that the American Party will take more votes from the left is a fantasy. Okay, the left demands lockstep in their rhetoric and in everything that they do, because you are an outcast if you deviate even a little bit. I mean, what's that? The bold lib on X. You can see that when she says something that kind of deviates from the left, she gets excoriated for it. They have turned on her like crazy. So there is no way that it will take more votes from the left, because they are they're like an NPC army in lockstep with each other. The American Party will not take votes from the left. It will only take votes from people who reluctantly voted for Trump, right? They reluctantly decided that, okay, Kamala Harris is freaking evil, but Donald Trump has the only way to win. And so that's all the people that it's going to take. And then all of a sudden we lose the midterms, and then Trump gets impeached 3 more times and nothing happens. So if that's the future you want, then yeah, go ahead and continue this American Party BS that Elon Musk has been pushing. But as far as I'm concerned, with the way that I've seen Elon Musk just change back and forth his opinions, like
6 weeks, I give this.
Dude, and well, not only that, you can go back a couple of years and say where he's talking about like the rainbow cult and how it's a good thing, and how you should have a registry for firearms or for assault weapons. Like he is flip-flopped on so many things that it is no surprise that he is throwing a fit about this. Okay, Elon Musk is going to do Elon Musk. I supported him when he was supporting MAGA, but you know what? I'm not going to back him on this. I will still support him as a person, because I think that what he did for free speech was a net positive for the country. He was actually very concerned about it, so that's a good thing. I'm going to support him in that. But as far as this America Party, nah, I'll advocate against it fully. And I'll stay Elon Musk. I still love you. I still think that you're doing some cool things, with tech and everything, even though you might be bringing in this dystopian future that is horrifying to me. But at least, he has good intentions. I don't know if that counts for anything, but man,
I'll just say,
I just want to keep the momentum going.
I know, I agree with that, but I'll just point out I never trust anybody that ever voted for Obama. Sorry.
I did not vote for Obama. That was my first election. I voted for Mitt Romney. In hindsight, that hurts. But the alternative was Barack Obama. So
yeah, I voted for George W. Bush my first election. So
wow. Well, I was too young to vote for either of them. So
I mean,
I could have voted in 2012, but I didn't.
But that's when I voted. Yeah, 2012. I was too young to vote for McCain. So
yeah, I forgot. I didn't vote the first time, and then I 16. I was going to. I had my ballot and everything, but I didn't send it in. I was like, well, I live in Washington State. I was like, this doesn't freaking matter. Like, there's zero chance that he's going to win. So, like, I remember marking it and being like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. And then he won, and I was like, holy shit! This is. I guess we can actually do something with our votes. 2020, I voted. He lost. 2024, voted. He won, but not in Washington State.
I voted against Obama in Washington State. If that. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
It did not. No.
So,
one popular vote.
To hang on with the one last thing, you said something about the left and the bold lib or whatever. It's like you can never be left enough for other leftists. You can never, and that's what will be the demise of that ideology at some point. We'll turn people off.
Hopefully.
And the midterms are huge, and like that needs to be our singular focus right now as a party. I'm a cog about this big. Like I don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I just have a small voice. But if anybody hears me when I say this, it's like every conversation, going against the madness of the left counts. Look at this communist that's coming up in New York City. The New York City is the economic and as much as we don't like the policies, it is the Western jewel that we own. And it's absolutely needs to be preserved, and we cannot allow this man to do it. And I guess I'll end with that. So I don't know. Do we usually run till 10?
Say again?
You guys usually just run an hour?
Yeah, usually we run an hour. But anything else you want to tell our audience about you, your life, what your expectations are on X?
I'm having a great time. That's really what it is. I have my wife is pregnant, and we're expecting our first child in November.
Congratulations!
I cannot wait. I've been connected with you for about 6 months, Steve, and it's been you've been an incredible inspiration and help on this platform. So it's really helped me to find my voice and get out and talk. And I love this. Love this is what I love. So the opportunity to come up here tonight and just talk about things that I enjoy, I really appreciate it.
It's really awesome, man. And are you going to pursue a podcasting career?
It's a possibility. I'm, apprehensive of getting my face out there. Honestly, the profession that I'm in would not, love this, but it is what it is. And this is what I love. If I can sway one person to look into the madness of the left and help preserve the culture that we all grew up in. I know the America that we all grew up in is gone, but that doesn't mean we can't pull remnants of it back with us. So,
yeah, absolutely, man. And sometimes you have to. You have to almost take like a leap of faith. If it's something that you really love to do, you just have to go for it. And if the people that you're employed with don't like it, screw them. You know what I mean? If it's, I know, like financially speaking, you can't really say screw them.
I got a baby on the way.
Correct,
so
exactly.
A little bit of a risk, so
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. But if you're afforded the opportunity, man, I would say go for it. Since I was laid off a few weeks back, I've been kind of took a step back and, why do I want to take this as a thought process of potentially just, I lost my job. Oh, woe is me. Or I could take it. Maybe there's a door that has been open for me that God wanted me to go to. And I'm kind of leaning towards that where, maybe this is an opportunity for me to take it full time. I put out a TikTok yesterday. Ooh, man, I got roasted a lot by the left, but guess what? They got me engagements. It is what it is. I've been doxxed and swatted already. So, I guess I got kind of that out of the way. So I'm okay on that front.
Yeah.
But everyone out there has to understand having an online presence in general puts you at a risk, right? Creating an account online or putting your information online, banking or any of this other stuff, putting information out on the internet is a risk. Now, you just have to weigh the risk on how high of a risk do you want to take? Do you want to put your face out there continuously? And that's up to the individual on how far they want to take it. But whatever you want to do, brother, I will support you 100% throughout this process.
I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And so, and I've, and talking a little bit about the weather, I've lived in, like I said, Maurice, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. It's Steve. I lived in Houston for 4 years. So I get it on both fronts.
You guys make sure to go give Fanatic American a follow. It is at Crusade Enjoyer. I love the name, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Tonight was a big face reveal for him. As far as being, one of the, anon accounts. Hey, it says I'm not following you. That's a lie. I am.
I don't know, man.
Well, it said we were following each other.
I'm just kidding. I know you are.
I'm following now.
Hey, look, you can subscribe to him too.
Oh, it says that you don't even follow me, but I know it's weird because we're following each other, so I don't know how that.
It's just
X
being X, out.
Yeah, just one of those things. But make sure to give him a follow. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. It is time to close out the show, though. We got to go be dads and stuff. So,
absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. But I appreciate you coming on. You guys, thank you so much. Oh, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here, bud?
No, I'm good. I'm just, this is incredible. I got the bug, I think. So
nice. I love it.
Perfect. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please share the show if you can. Sign up for the Q Broadcasting. That's CUE Broadcasting. It has nothing to do with the other kind of Q. So, support the networks, the streaming services that are run by Christians that want a better future for America. I believe in them, and I hope that you guys enjoy the service as well. It is, if you watch TV, if you stream, it's a big help. But we also have a couple other sponsors. If you like coffee, go to smokingguncoffee.com. Click on the Tribe Patriots tab. And we actually have a couple other sponsors beneath that you guys can check out. But till next time, we'll be back on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless America. We'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryce the Great, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
PPN, you're doing the right thing.
On the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
PPN on your bumper.
I'm Tom McDonald. This is the Patriot Prayers Network. Check it out. Lots of good TV. Lots of cool people. Tune in. Keep it locked.
Know where I stand. I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My patriots the craziest. They ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip. The same mistake and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them. There's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem. Smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms. Fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave to the grave. United States, we love the country that they've been corrupting. Go woke and go broker if you ain't awake. My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is America.